It's the little sneaky stuff those market makers and big whales be doing. They don't want their orders to be seen. They want to slip under the radar. So what do? They do dark pool orders. Master traders and money magnets. Today the SPY closed at 649.12. Our previous all-time close was at 648.92. That was August 28th's candle. So technically and officially, we have a new official all-time high close. Once again, we are witnessing history, new records being set. But what happened? Well, in my last YouTube video that I made, which was actually this morning, I spoke about how the 20 daily moving average was recaptured. And as long as above the 20 daily moving average, we needed to watch the next moving average, which was the 5 DMA, the 5 daily moving average. I mentioned that we want to go long if that 645 level cleared, which at the time was around where the 5 DMA was. I also wrote it in my Discord. SPY above the 5 DMA is bullish. So bulls must clear 645 to recapture it and put 646.5 and 648 in play. If 648 holds as resistant and 643 fails, then I would have favored some downside. So we look at the 15-minute chart. This is the way Unco trades. Now, my setups don't always work because a lot of time the market can get trappy and they force Unco to trade with the traps. And there are all the times where there's just no volatility, no direction. But when that happens, we always want to do our best to respect our stop loss. But on days like today, when there is some direction, when there is a little bit of volatility, it was pretty slow action. So I wouldn't say it was that volatile, but it definitely picked a direction and it was not trappy. And you can see here, I'm looking at it on a 30-minute chart, but we can look at a 15-minute chart as well, which is usually what I use. And you can see right here where we cleared 645. And because of that close, that's what made me let my Discord members know. 645 cleared, put in 646.5 in play. And the idea of that is that close also tells us to enter calls or go long. With my next target at 646.5 and boom, it hit. So if you're trading it level to level style, the idea is that we go long or buy calls when we clear 645, which is an example right here on the 15-minute chart. And we look to take profits around or when it hits the next target at 646.5. We take profits and we leave a runner. We leave some skin in the game in case the market keeps going. And in this case, it kept going. It cleared 646.5. That was also alerted in the group. As of now, 646.5 is support. As long as above 648 stays in play, it was support. Look at that 1:30 candle Eastern time. It showed us some buying pressure after clearing it, and boom, it just kept on going up. New all-time high close. Very, very grateful for today's price action and today's trading day, because as you guys know, not every trading day is created equal. And today it was pretty good. So now we got to look at the next plan. First thing we have to do is recognize what was the last critical level that the bulls cleared. For me, that critical level was the 5 DMA around 645. It is creeping up. I do have a fib level around 645.5. I wasn't really watching that today. I was more interested in the moving average, and I'll still be for tomorrow. Watch that moving average. As long as SPY is above the 5 daily moving average, I recommend us being bull biased. And if SPY clears that previous all-time pivot high, which is at 649.48, we can round it to 649.5. If SPY clears it, best believe we are going to set new records, new all-time highs. We're going to uncharted territory. But if it is pullback time, because some of you guys might be looking at this and saying we gotta be careful of a potential double top. Absolutely agree with you. But when does Unco trust rejection from resistance? I trust rejection from resistance when it can break down a support level. So for me, I have a support level at 648, 646.5, and I'm going to stick with the 645 and the 643 level. If it is pullback time, we need to break down those levels and definitely watch out for that 20 daily moving average, which is around 642.2-ish as of right now. It was the recapture of that 20 daily moving average that gave me a little bit of confidence going long today. So bulls need to defend it if we do get a pullback, because if not and it fails, this double top could definitely play out bearishly in favor of the bears. So if you're new to Uncle's YouTube channel, what I do here is I identify the levels and the setups so that we can trade it unbiasedly, and I try to cover the bull case scenario and the bear case scenario, and also the chop scenario. Right now, it does not look like SPY wants to chop. It looks like SPY wants to move. And with NFP tomorrow, anything can happen. Do not be surprised if we get new all-time highs, but don't be surprised if we get a rug pull. Let's see what the market gives us tomorrow. Moving on to triple Q, coming very close to give us the third test of this triangle pattern that I had. This is coming off of the bottom of the triangle. Not perfect. We did have a gap down, but it recovered, as you guys can see, and we're going to test it. It looked like we're going to test it. If it does, want to make it official, 576 is that level. And if triple Q does get above 576, triple Q will then be entering breakout mode. The awesome part about this, if it does get in breakout mode, and the bulls might like this one, is that the RSI, it's not even in overbought territory. So there's definitely room to keep on going up. And even if it gets to overbought territory, it doesn't mean there's a top yet. Overbought can get more overbought pretty much. But what the behavior of the price action does is going to be very telling. We clear 576, triple Q will be telling us that it's bullish, with 578, 580 or much higher in play. But if it is rejection time, I will trust the rejection. Like, let's say it hit 576. If there is selling pressure, I will trust the strength of that selling pressure if it can break down support at 574.6. I don't like to enter at tops or bottoms. I like to enter as the market is either going up or down. So for me, if it's going down, it needs to break down 574.6 or break down 573 as well. And then I would look to short in favor of 571 and 569.7 in play. I would be a lot more bearish below 569.7. But above 576, keep in mind, based on this structure, above 576 would be very bullish. And with NFP tomorrow, like I said, anything can happen. Here is NVDA. It's been in chop mode. We do have an inside candle setup. I do not believe it will chop again tomorrow. It's 3 side-by-side candles, with today being an official inside candle setup. I do not believe the chop will continue tomorrow. We could get a breakout. I need to see the 50 DMA recaptured. I need to see this fib level clear, which is 172.5. If that level clears, 174 or higher would be in play. That's not much of a move, I know, but I definitely think if we clear 172.5, it should be explosive. From the contraction phase to expansion phase. If NVDA is to expand to the upside, it'll start off by clearing 172.5. 174 will be a target. 176 and 178 will also be a target to the upside. If we do want to fill the gap's all the way up at 180 as of right now. If the 50 DMA wants to continue to defend as resistant, I will have no problem with that. But the bear's going to need to show some follow through and start breaking down support. Now, based on the inside candle setup, the low of the mother candle is 168.8. If that level breaks down, Unco will be bear bias, and I would favor another $5 to $10 move to the downside. Here is Tesla, also with this inside candle setup. The range of the mother candle is 328.5 up to 343.5. Pretty decent range. But based on this setup, anything between that range is chop and noise and could be trappy. So if we are to be bullish, 340, 342, and the mother candle's high at 343.3 must clear. If those levels clear, I would look to long, and I would favor a $10 to $15 move to the upside. It'll be nice. But if we break down the 5 DMA, we break down the levels, I'm going to give you the 336 level for that. If we break down 336, that would be a big loss for the bulls, because that's multiple moving averages. And that will put 331.5 fib level in play along with the 330 level, which is my 200 DMA, a very important moving average. We break down those levels, I would be very bearish on Tesla. I would favor a $10 to $20 move to the downside. Now, according to the YouTube algorithm, when my viewers are watching my videos, the viewership drops. Like, it takes a nosedive when it gets to my coin section. So that tells me that most of you guys, my fellow master traders, aren't really interested in coin. So because of that, I'm going to replace coin with Apple. You guys can let me know in the comment section if you guys approve of this. You guys approve of Apple. If not, let me know what you guys want to see instead. But I'm only taking out coin because of what the algorithm showed me, that my views go down, which tells me nobody really cares about coin. So I'm going to try Apple, and I want to cover stuff that you guys actually care about. And Apple is a market moving stock. So I figured it'd be worth watching. I do have a level to watch at 239.46. Now, just so we're all on the same page, my fib levels, my short-term fib levels starts from August 14th high, and I brought it down to August 21st low. Just so we're on the same page, okay? So I do have a level at 239.46. We actually cleared that level officially on the daily chart today. So that is breakout mode. And as long as Apple is above 239.46, I would favor more upside up to 240.8, 242, 242 or much higher in play. But if we break back below 239.4, that would put Apple in false breakout mode territory. And I would trust the breakdown more if it breaks down the next support level at 237.8. So if we break down 239.4 and 237.8, I would say look to short with 235.7, 234, 232.6, and 230.7-ish in play to the downside. Now here is IWM also going for the bounce. Now this is beautiful textbook stuff. We had this pivot high here, and then it went and back tested that pivot high area as a support. So this is an example of the market makers accepting a previous high as the new low. This is bullish price action behavior, textbook bullish price action behavior based on price action. It's beautiful. And today we also cleared that 235.5 fib level. So there was some bullish follow through. Will it continue and give us that higher high is the next question. If the answer is yes, the first thing that IWM must do is keep price above 235.5 on any pullback. As long as above that level, today's breakout stays intact. Breakout means to be bullish. So as long as above 235.5, the next fib level at 238 would be in play with 241 above. If you are to get bearish, you always want to start and play the false breakout setup. That would require IWM to break down 235.5 and 234, and that would put 231.5-ish back in play. That's the critical level based on this pivot high here and this pivot low. And below 231.5, Unco would be bear biased on IWM. Now last but certainly not least, here is the VIX. Volatility is going low. But I mean, yeah, it was pretty slow. When volatility is low, it usually means it's going to be slow action. So you want to avoid the 0 DTEs in those short-term contracts. Unless you know what you're doing. I know there's a lot of people out there that are very, very tactical with their 0 DTEs. For me personally, Uncle's not good at trading 0 DTs. I will admit that, and I very much stay away from them when the volatility is low. When the volatility is high, the risks are much higher, which means the potential of making money is much better with 0 DTEs. But the thing is, I don't really trade those. I don't really recommend anyone to trade those. But if you do trade them, you know, I believe using the VIX to help gauge the market can help you to help increase your success. I figured you make a lot more money when the volatility is higher, and right now volatility is a bit low based on the VIX, so it's a bit risky right now, but it can all turn around. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it can all turn around if VIX can recapture 16 and clear 17.5, because if this keeps going, and it could reflect on the SPY with another one of those melt ups, it could keep on going to new all-time high, but it could end up melting up, which makes it very difficult to day trade. So let's fingers crossed something happens with NFP tomorrow that can turn things around. If not, we'll take it one day at a time. Either way, we're gonna keep our faith strong, and remember, what is faith? Faith is not saying what if. That is fear and doubt. Faith is saying even if. And no matter what happens, we are gonna remain loyal to one truth, and that truth is that me and you, Uncle Charters, and all his viewers are money magnets. And listen to me when I tell you this, that what I just said is not wishful thinking. It is not hopeful thinking. It is law. You and I are money magnets. Peace. Wow, new all-time high close. What? Wait a minute. You guys are still here? It's over. You guys want more of Uncle Charters' content. You know, Uncle's been doing this for a few days now. I'm not sure if anyone's been paying attention, but you have. So because you're still here, Uncle's gonna share some stuff with you. That's right. I'm gonna share some dark pool levels with you. Dark pool levels It's the little sneaky stuff those market makers and big whales be doing. They don't want their orders to be seen. They want to slip under the radar. So what do? They do dark pool orders. Very sneaky, but don't worry. Unco has access to this stuff and I'm going to share it with you guys for free. Now, first thing I would like for us to look at is the 649 level, over 324.5 million in premium. Sounds like a lot, right? That's nothing compared to this other one. 1.4 billion in premium, right at the 643.7 level. Now, if we look on the daily chart of the SPY, today's candle was around 643.5, the low of it. The low of today's candle was around 643.5. So it looks to me like those market makers, all those whales, whoever it was, bought in around that level, 643.7, and I'm sure they are up right now. Now look at this level at 649, over 300 million in premium. That's not a lot, but that does make me want to look at it and pay attention to see what happens tomorrow. Because if we're above 649 tomorrow, this millions of dollars of action right here could have been a buy order. We shall see, but SPY will need to be above 649 because look what happened when it stayed above 643.7. It was bullish. And these players that got in here, whoever bought, I mean, somebody had to sold and take profit, but somebody bought in and they are up. So just levels for us to pay attention to for tomorrow, okay? 649 based on dark pool levels and the big one at 643.7. If we're above those levels, I recommend staying bullish. But if we break it down, especially 643.7, that would be pretty bearish. And I hope you found value in that. Peace.